Sex happens between 15 and 20 times a week in one form or another in this house.
You just have to kind of grow up a bit and accept that he can't cut himself in 7 and spend every night with all of us.
Rejection was a big thing, a really, really big thing. And of course, 7 wives is just mega rejection.
In tantra, climaxes among men is often withheld. So I practice that when I want to have more sexual energy. It's a powerful tool, not to just gratify yourself every time you're intimate.
In Sussex, Philip Sharp shares his farm with racehorses, 6 chickens, a flock of sheep, and his wives. All 7 of them.
We each have a husband, and that husband is Philip. It's not like we have a slice of him, or whatever it is, I don't know.
I think it took Philip to be a man in the sense that I understand what a man should be like for me to understand what it is to be a woman. And that's changed my whole concept of what it is to be a wife.
It was in 1999, after 17 years of monogamy, that ex-Rabbi Philip left his first wife and then received revelations from God, demanding he get married again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again.
Judith was part of God's plan for me. She was my first wife. My second wife was Tracy. Then came Hannah, who was part of my congregation in Austria. Then there was Franny. Then Margot, who struggled a lot. And then Chava. And then Karen, she became a wife. I do have a different wife for a different day. Not that I think about it that way, but that is an advantage. But it wasn't my idea.
30 years ago, God instructed Philip to travel to America to train as a rabbi in the Jews for Jesus movement. And in the late 90s, the revelations returned as the Almighty upped the stakes further, commanding his servant become polygamous.
I had a whole month of visitation of God. I would go to bed and wake up 2 hours later, spark awake, and then God would just begin to speak to me. When it starts to happen, you think you're either going absolutely insane or you found something that is awesome. I lay down on the couch in the lounge and I fell asleep on that couch and I had this incredible dream. And the dream was that the hosts of heaven, the armies of heaven, were above me, waiting for me to command them. And it's not that I think that I'm this great man that's arrived on earth to do these great things. You know, if you, for example, choose Joan of Arc as an example, you know, she didn't think she was anything great. She didn't even know she was Joan of Arc. She was just an ordinary little girl, and then all of a sudden, you know, she was saying, well, maybe I'm the maid that's been prophesied, you know, and that's how I feel.
Philip was to start a new polygamous family based on ancient Jewish ways. Like a biblical king, Philip took 7 wives, but he's no bigamist. All the marriages are consensual rather than legal unions.
was like, whoa, and it was freaking me out. And after a month, I actually asked God, I said, God, I can't take anymore, I can't take anymore, I can't do this. I need to sober up.
Six of Philip's new wives were not born Jewish, but some did receive revelations of his messianic mission.
I started to get revelation that Philip would have other wives, and I had a vision of dancing around Philip 7 times. And then I found out that's what happens in a Jewish wedding. I didn't know. And I was like, right, okay. But I knew as soon as that I was to be a wife, I knew there would be others.
Philip married Judith in 1999 and Karen in 2003.
It was really hard. It was really hard. Because on the one hand, I did know it was right. But on the other hand, everything inside me was screaming, how am I going to handle this?
The hardest year for Judith was 2001, when her husband was a rabbi, scouring his congregations and collecting 5 wives in just 12 months.
You have your rose-tinted glasses, plans and ideas and dreams of what's going to happen and how things are going to be. But any woman watching this will think, how can you possibly do that?
Summer and Kestrel lived as a monogamous couple for 10 years. But then their twosome became a threesome. Kestrel, Summer and Lucy live in a log cabin in the redwoods of California.
We take care of each other's day-to-day needs and try to really love each other well and have a life together.
This kind of family is so much stronger than any kind of family feeling I've ever had, because it's by choice. Everyone's here just because they want to be.
Summer has been with her boyfriend Kestrel for 13 years.
We had never been polyamorous, but many of my friends for many years, with whom I'm quite close, have been polyamorous. So it was sort of something that had always been in my mind as a possibility, but I hadn't actually done it.
I was in a long-term relationship with Summer. My son moved in with his mother, who I'm divorced from. So there was an extra room in the house. So Summer and I decided to have a go at a cooperative kind of relationship and an open relationship in the house.
Three years ago, after she got divorced, the couple invited Lucy into their home and into their relationship.
Coming into a relationship where Kestrel and Summer have been together for 10 years was really rather frightening at first. I wasn't sure of my place. I wasn't sure if I had the opportunity to be long-term. Being around Summer and Kestrel and the way they run their relationship and the way they solve their issues, I can see why they've lasted for so long.
Every morning starts the same in the house.
What time is it?
I think we
Okay.
want to get up.
Yeah.
It's time.
You wanna go get some tea? And come back here?
Yeah.
Whilst the love of his life, Summer, sleeps, Kestrel is practicing tantric meditation with his other woman, Lucy.
Having sex with two women can be very challenging. If you climax, you may not want to have sex for a few days. with me. Summer and I have a wonderful date, and we're very sexual, and Lucy comes home and wants to be sexual. Chances are I'm going to say, you know, I just have been very sexual with Summer. I don't really want to. In Tantra, climaxes among men is often withheld. So I practice that when I want to have more sexual energy. It's a powerful tool, not to just gratify yourself every time you're intimate.
Tantra has a lot of goals. A lot of them are very orgasmic. Tantra can bring you to amazing depths of intimacy and wild abandon.
I have it.
Kestrel might be the only man in his three-way relationship, but he faces competition for his lover's attentions from an unlikely source: his wives. Summer and Lucy are in a lesbian relationship with each other.
Summer pretty much identifies as lesbian and then is in a long-term relationship with Kestrel, which is highly entertaining to us all.
Kestrel and I had been talking a lot about the fact that I was bisexual, and that had sort of always been known between us. I had this very real need to explore that part of my life and my heart. And it's been quite a journey, but I love our lives together now. It's really beautiful to have the three of us here. It's just enriched me in so many ways. I guess I've always known that I was attracted to women, but I love Kestrel so deeply and for so long, and I'm very, very attracted to him. I can't imagine not wanting to be in love with Kestrel and be his partner, but he's kind of a unique situation. I do not find myself attracted in general to men. I just don't.
This is a guy's dream, okay? You have two women, they're lesbians, they love each other, they have sex together, and they welcome you there. And that's just so erotic, that's so beautiful, you're so lucky. How did you do this? And it's actually very much not the case. Having two women scrutinize your male behavior means if you're controlling or angry, that they're going to generally look at you together and say, this is something that doesn't fit with our more feminine side. So the erotic dream will last one night, but year after year, it's actually getting to know what people need and taking care of them that makes this happen. So I don't know that everybody wants to be that open. Especially, you know, Summer and Lucy both are in an open relationship with me, so they date other people. And so that can be very, very difficult for many, many men.
Unlike traditional monogamy, an open relationship means that all three can take lovers outside the family unit without fear of repercussions at home.
Including Kestrel and Summer, I have 6 lovers.
I have 2 lovers besides Kestrel and Lucy.
I'm nervous about having any more lovers. It's enough, and it's to me it's all about the commitment and the depth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to have casual lovers.
Yeah.
It's not really, doesn't serve me very well.
Lucy has no such reservations and combines work with pleasure. She has a desk job at a local tantric temple where, with one of her current extracurricular lovers, Kerry, she hones her meditative skills under the guidance of Guru Evelina.
Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to flow right into your center. Let the long, deep undulatory breath all the way into the crown. Opening the crown, the violet, letting it fountain around.
Tantra is a tradition primarily practiced in India that combines erotic arts and deep heart connection as a way to connect the body to the spirit. It's a very integrative sort of belief structure that says the body is sacred, sexuality is sacred as part of the whole human being.
Let it spiral down through. Arrive in your first chakra, right in front of the base of the spine.
I practice Tantra actually with a number of people who are part of a larger circle of my friends and loved ones.
Opening into the love center, the center of passion, loving kindness.
I have one other lover, Carrie, who I met at the temple. Tantra is useful in polyamory because it teaches you how to really connect with people in a way that lets you structure your friendships and your romantic involvements in a very flexible way. Of course, it's useful to have a very flexible way of interacting with people erotically. I've found a beautiful way to connect with people.
In the top.
Top.
Yeah.
This one.
No, in the top of the freezer one.
In Sussex, keeping 7 wives, a husband and 9 children fed and watered is a task of biblical proportions. After God told him to become polygamous, racehorse trainer and ex-rabbi Philip Sharp married wife number 2, Tracy, in 2001. She can bear witness to how well the family is maturing.
In the beginning, well, I think we were all very, very competitive with each other, and we were all very manipulative as well. You got to make a cup of tea, come back, someone's jumped in your place. It was really quite bizarre a lot of the time. Everything like that seems to be really coming to an end now, and there seems to be some real genuine unity beginning to happen. Go on. We're all becoming sort of friends now rather than hating each other. We don't like the situation.
We're together, this is a family, we have to help each other. We're all connected together, if you see what I mean. So it's not just like a mushy love or anything like that, it's a very kind of a godly love.
Sometimes life can be a psalm or two short of divine vision. Space in the house is at a premium, and cleansing the body as well as the soul can be something of a challenge.
This is the only bathroom in the house, and there's no lock on the door, which I was horrified about, so I have to drag the toiletries and barricade myself in. I don't think anybody else does that.
So many people living in such close quarters can occasionally create an atmosphere.
Yes, there are times still when things obviously get pressurised. 9 children and so many adults, and from different, Sarah being Swiss, her room's very tidy, Hannah's very tidy. This is Hannah and Maureen's room. This is Hannah's bed. Hannah's a very naturally orderly person. She's from Austria, and I think that perhaps is a trait, I don't know, but she's certainly a very orderly person. Maureen, it's much harder for her to keep things tidy.
With 7 wives to choose from, what goes on in Philip's bedroom is also a bone of contention.
When it comes to spending a night with Philip, he usually says, "Would you like to stay with me?" But sometimes a wife might say, "Please, can I?" if they feel it's right. It's not something we negotiate. We don't have a rota. And again, it's something that has just worked itself out. Good morning. Good morning. The wives don't sit down and talk about, you know, oh, I had a good shag last night or whatever. I mean, it's just not discussed.
It helps to have faith if you're left out of Philip's nightly schedule.
It hits on the button of rejection, second-class citizen, I'm the eldest, I'm the ugliest, I'm the whatever. But, you know, more and more I can just relax into that God is love. He didn't do this to hurt me. He didn't do it to wound me. And Philip's not doing it to wound me.
Back in California, part-time builder Kestrel is taking on the role of housewife, making breakfast for his lovers, Summer and Lucy.
I fashion myself as a housewife. You know, I go back and forth about that. Sometimes I think I need to be the provider and go out and get a regular job and go 9 to 5 and pay my bills. But for now, you know, I'm taking some time just to be with this and see what it feels like to be the cook for a little while. These are looking good, you guys. You wanted anything else?
Thank you. Just a napkin. Thanks, sweetheart. I'll eat the best.
So we have to deal with the week. The calendar's out. If you guys start, that's okay with me.
And that's an entirely different...
This morning, the threesome is working out the rota for who's going to spend time with whom.
So can you go over again? So tonight's you guys?
Summer and Lucy's lesbian relationship and Kestrel wanting time with both his women separately makes it a complicated chore that sometimes leads to disappointment.
I'd like a Saturday night at some point, maybe. Just because it's like the only day where you can have all day, you're not working, and you get to sleep in.
I don't want to make it a regular thing, but once in a while I'm willing to work with it a little bit.
There's another big problem though, Luce, because if Summer and I are on Sunday and Monday, then we're going double days, and then Tuesday you're usually hanging out with Summer, and it's 3 days.
That's what's been the problem in the past.
So you and I won't see each other for a big block.
I don't know. I understand. I'd just like to try it once.
The hard work that the threesome put into organising their relationship isn't without reward. Kestrel, Summer and Lucy share a passion for each other in every possible permutation.
Sex happens between 15 and 20 times a week in one form or another in this house.
Having sex
fun.
with these people is really awesome. I
It's
love
fun.
having sex with them both.
It's beautiful.
In many combinations. They're fabulous.
We can't show you, but
But, you know, it's awesome.
it's so beautiful. Bye, you guys.
Hi, guys.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
We'll see you tonight.
Yep. I'll see you tonight. You got your phone? All right. Summer, this is your lunch.
All right, that's my lunch?
Yeah, got some other stuff in there.
Okay, thank you. Where's my car?
Polygamy is a way of life that carries a certain stigma. 31-year-old Summer is a newly qualified lawyer, but she hasn't told her family, let alone anyone at work, about her lifestyle.
I am not out as poly at work. It's almost like that it's really none of my cohort's business to know about it, and it doesn't matter, because when I'm at work, and I have plenty to think about that isn't my partner's.
Kestrel used to be a teacher, but felt unable to keep up the pretense of monogamy in school and gave up his life's work to become a part-time builder.
I originally was a school teacher, and that was a childhood dream. But I found that parents are very conservative generally. As a caretaker of their children, they want me to be very traditional. So I had to play a role, and that was fine, but it was very difficult to wake up in the morning, lock down my personal life completely, be with the children in a very non-emotional, non-open way, and then come back home and have to open again. I think your livelihood has to fit your lifestyle to make it really feel right.
I've yet to meet another polyamorous attorney that I know of, but people who have a lot of initiative and drive and focus and concentration. You know, I guess the understanding of how to make complicated things work in their professional lives might also be attracted to polyamory as a lifestyle.
Though living as a threesome is not illegal, Kestrel, Summer and Lucy have sacrificed the kind of benefits that traditional married couples enjoy.
There's various advantages that come of being married. And of course we don't have that. Kestrel and I decided early on that we didn't want marriage. And of course with Lucy, homosexual marriage isn't allowed anyway. Legally, polyamorous marriage would be a nightmare for family lawyers in the case of a divorce or dissolution. You know, and as an attorney, I can't even imagine how you would start to deal with that in the law.
As a racehorse trainer, Philip Sharp has an uncanny knack for breaking in wild horses.
Animals are much more honest, generally, than people. They warn you with their body language if they're not happy or if they're insecure. And of course, all of those things are paralleled with people, except that people often have more hardness of heart, they have more pride, more suspicion, distrust. With a wife, the same thing applies. But instead of the understanding of the body language, which is what the horse understands, a human being is much more complex. The way that I would train a wife, seriously, the way I would train a wife is by discerning the motive of her heart in the way she's trying to have fellowship with me.
Kestrel is training in massage and adores practicing on his lovers.
Yeah, Lucy was sore muscles the other day.
One of my favorite drawings you've made, Summer.
Thank you.
She's doing great. She's a little tense.
I wonder how it feels to see the two people you love touching each other so intimately like this.
We have so much capacity to love as human beings, and I feel really taken care of. I feel that my needs are being met with both of them, and I love both of them, and so it makes me really safe and happy to see them taking care of one another.
Kestrel struggled hardest when he and Summer started dabbling in polygamy.
There's something that happened that, to me, that I think you can't really understand this without knowing it. When we first opened our relationship, Summer went out to explore being bisexual, and I was happily heterosexual and monogamous. And Summer left for a weekend to meet with a new lover that was a female, and I completely fell apart. I was terrified. And I remember thinking, you know, the love of my life, my partner for all these years, has become a lesbian and she's gonna leave me now. But I wanted her to go there, and I encouraged her. I said, I want you to be yourself.
And I was very surprised at how deep the fear and the pain went in Kestrel when he thought that I was leaving him, and of course I wasn't. That experience was really scary and really painful for both of us. And at the time, it was one of the worst experiences in my life. I came home and yeah, it was awful. And I realized then, I think we both realized how much we loved each other in that. And, you know, getting him to realize that, no, I wasn't leaving and that I loved him and that we'd had some really bad miscommunications.
Yeah, we had miscommunicated.
We had some very, very bad miscommunications. In a way, that experience and realizing how much and how deeply we did want to be with one another opened the door for safely exploring poly.
Summer and Kestrel opened their lives to Lucy 3 years ago, but have found it hard letting their families know about their lifestyle.
My family doesn't know. I'm closeted, both as gay or bi, I suppose, and as poly. And it's sad in a lot of ways. I've made the decision because my family is not particularly open-minded and hasn't been particularly supportive of my relationship with Kestrel, which is, you know, pretty, was monogamous, heterosexual for a long time. And I figure if they're not going to embrace my life partner of 10 years, at this point, what value do I gain in coming out as lesbian polyamorous? So it's a little bit sad sometimes because I don't really get to share who I am, but I also have felt that my family doesn't really want to know who I am, and that's a boundary that I'm willing to respect. And I would like to come to a place where my family knows what my lifestyle is, but it's not a high priority. There are other things that keep me happy and alive and grounded and safe in the world. So.
Well, my family is very empathic. So when my mother arrived with Lucy as our roommate,
oh, yes.
which was the big lark,
roommate.
Lucy is our new roommate to help pay the rent. She knew immediately that it was a love relationship, and she asked me, she said, you know, Lucy's in love with you. And I said, you know, Mom, I gotta just tell you, I'm also in love with Lucy. And
so is Summer.
And so is Summer. And as that developed over the course of time, my mother went through a lot of pain, and bless her heart, you know, hadn't dreamed of her son being polyamorous or whatever. And it's become manageable, but difficult. So holidays are difficult. Get-togethers are non-existent. So she's just very uncomfortable.
At dawn every day, the Sharp family gathers together. It's the time that Philip uses to tell his many wives just what he expects of them.
The scriptures clearly promise that God would do away with all falsehood. And you need the magnifying glass of truth over your falsehood. Yeah, you're going to be miserable for quite some time. But the goal of that misery is joy. And this is one of the reasons why things have to get very hard and very difficult. But unless you, as a woman, become accountable to whom you should be accountable to, responsible to whom you should be responsible to, unless you do that, then you are a rebel. You're not going to receive from me what you would like from me until you get rid of all falsehood. I cannot be nice all the time. I don't even want to be nice all the time. If people don't like me for being true, honest and upright, well, they can piss off, because I'm not interested. I get dictatorial, if you like, about the issues where people don't love themselves. I don't get dictatorial to make them not love themselves. That would be crushing and manipulating.
We all tend to kind of beat ourselves up a bit, and you're terrible and you're this. And I think that creates an incredible tension. So people become, it's like if you're rebuked or something, or something in you is exposed, rather than saying, right, okay, I am like that, Lord, help me to change, it becomes, oh, I'm really awful. And that, I think, creates a lot of the tension, which makes Philip seem like he's being very hard, when actually it's not. A lot of the time, it's just us being very hard on ourselves.
Being one of Philip's wives is not for the faint-hearted. Living with tough love can get too much. Margot married Philip in 2001, but recently had a crisis of faith in their polygamous relationship.
I was just on the verge of actually going, saying, okay, I'll go. And then I just thought about it. And I think that if you want something from God, you have to give something from yourself. And that's what I could see for me, that I need to give something from myself to have something from God, to actually follow him and follow the calling that is on Phil's life, and that I believe God's put on everyone individually as a, you know, everybody has a purpose in life, but if you find God, then you can do that with God, and he can show you what your purpose is. So I'm still here, and I'm hoping that I'll still be here.
The scriptures depict marriage as you don't belong to yourself, you belong to your wife, and your wife belongs to you. Now, I don't have a problem if a wife has got a particular gifting of leadership or some form of creativity, then I would strongly support, encourage, and be there. But when it's done out of a hostile independence, then it's not being done in what I call a marriage.
What you don't see is, stop it, is the weeks and weeks of prayer meetings where he's speaking about stuff and we don't take any notice because we are very complacent. Unless you really, really want to sort of face something head on, it's very easy to listen to a prayer meeting and go, yeah, thank you very much, and go on with your day. And I think, I know for me sometimes, until things get very strong and I'm backed into a corner, I won't deal with it. So I can understand his frustration sometimes. But that comes from having a desire, because he can see where we're supposed to be going and what we're supposed to be like. And I think for someone who can see what the outcome is and then to look at the mess that there is, it must be quite frustrating sometimes as well.
Kestrel is home alone. His girlfriends are sharing quality time over a romantic meal.
Fun to be out here without Kestrel. Just you and I, girls' night out.
Yeah. You're about to say something.
I'm trying to formulate it. You know, I'm trying to just... I often say that I don't have enough time with you, and it's often so frustrating to me that when I do have time with you, it's like...
Briefer than you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah. You're pretty serious.
You're serious about me?
Yeah, I'm serious about you.
She says after 3 years.
Yeah. Well, it takes me at least that long to figure out. We're not quite on our 5 yet. I'll be able to tell you for sure after I've known you 5 years.
Couple years?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, well, you never know.
Should I mark the calendar?
Yeah, well, our 5-year anniversary is going to be a big deal, babe. I want to go do something pretty special, just you and me. Maybe we can go someplace.
Do you ever worry they won't come home?
I've never had that fear, that Summer and Lucy would run off on a lark. But I think in all love there's fear of loss, no matter how you do it. I just accept that as inevitable part of the love. live with it, appreciate what I have. You know, thinking long term is not easy. I think that no matter what, I'll love Summer and Lucy for life. But I don't know in what way, if it'll be living together or living separately or being full-time or part-time. There's a saying that I've heard that if you're meeting your needs, why would you ever change? But changes seem to come no matter what. I love the idea, though, of that kind of stability. I long for it.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
It's not dominance, it is love. It is really, really love. Yes, it can be tough, you know, he has to be tough because I'm a tough cookie. You know, when I'm soft, Philip is a very soft man. It's our fault that he has to be tough, you know. It breaks his heart. It breaks his heart like it breaks my heart having to dish out the discipline to a child. It hurts me, you know, I would rather just enjoy it.
You speak to my wives and there's no ball and chain around their ankles. There's no manipulation there. They know they're free to go at any time.
Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
We give him a hard time. We give him a really hard time, and he has laid down his life for us in a way that I just can't imagine any other man would do or could do.
I mean, there'll be a million judges out there with their opinions. And I could be judged as some dictatorial, hard taskmaster. I could be judged that way.
I wouldn't want any other life. I couldn't imagine any other life. I couldn't imagine being anywhere else, doing anything else. The thought of going back to the life I had before, the work, the meaningless work I did before, I just couldn't imagine. There isn't any other option. And we've all chosen that.
What are my motives? Is it to dominate and have all these people be my skivvies? Is that the reason? Or actually is love the reason?
I'll test it. Oh, it's really hot. I can't get it.
We started this thing with a lot of dreams and plans, and we didn't exactly end up where we kind of thought we were going to end up, but damn, we kind of ended up in a nice place so far. Right.
I'm in a very nice place right now.
I'm in a nice place. I mean, look.
Look at her. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she is.
We all are.
I think we're pretty lucky. Me too.
To our continued health and prosperity.
Or something. You need something. To love. And all its forms.